a lot of you, I was looking, we have a lot of guests tonight, first time ever. Appreciate you being here. And we have a lot of people that are here every single Thursday night. And I thought, what can I share with people? What are the 10 most important team building tips, concepts that I can share that when internalized and when people are able to get the concept from their head to their heart can make the most positive impact on their organization. And that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. I'm excited about the information. And again, I appreciate you guys being here, especially those that are here every single week. Your support means more to me than I can uh, express to you. I started doing these a year ago on Thursday night. For those of you that are here for the very first time, again, my name is Dale Calvert. You can go to mlmhelp.com and learn more about me than you would ever want to know. There's a DVD there that will give you kind of my background and history in the industry. The bottom line is when I started in the network marketing profession, I was 20 years old. I was actually living in this house you see here, little 600 square foot home, driving a beat up Chevette. And I would classify myself as the most least likely to succeed in network marketing. My first 3 years, I wanted to quit every single day. I was frustrated, I was aggravated, but thankfully I got started at a time when Sony came out with the greatest invention in the world as far as I'm concerned, called the Sony Walkman, which enabled me to listen to hours and hours and hours of audios daily on my full-time job. I listened to over 7,500 hours of audio in my first 3 years, and I learned a lot just through repetition and through listening. And I think the thing I learned more than anything was the type of business I didn't want. And to make a long story short, after 3 years, some things really started to come together for me. Uh, I don't think I mentioned, but my sponsor actually quit a week after I joined, and I didn't even know who my upline was. I didn't even know for my first 4 or 5 months what even an upline was called. Uh, but to make a long story short, during my first 3 years and listening to those audios, I formulated a lot of concepts, ideas, principles, and I started to see things, I think, from a different perspective than a lot of people that get involved in the network marketing industry. I understood it was a real business. It could create lifetime residual income and even create legendary generational wealth if you take care of your money. And I saw uh, what I believe to this day is the greatest opportunity in the history of the world for giving average people with above average desire the opportunity to really affect positively not just their life but their families and future generations. So it took me, after 3 years, things popped. They started coming together. I started to understand that the real business in network marketing is people. And if you build people, people will build the business. And I started to understand that it's not about a particular product or service that you offer. It's about developing people. That leadership ultimately creates product movement. Leadership creates product movement. And I started to see things from a totally different perspective. And I started to understand that I'm not the issue. I'm not the issue. Duplicatable systems are what build teams of people. And I don't care if we're talking about a franchise or any other type of business. It's the systems that create the duplication, which ultimately create the teams. And once I really, really understood that and started implementing a lot of what we teach, things exploded for me. After 5 years, I was able to leave my job, but it did take me 9 years in the network marketing profession to get to $92,000 a year. And please don't leave this webinar if you're new. Like, why am I listening to this guy? It took him 9 years to get to know. Why am I listening to him? But please hear what I'm saying after this, because this is the most significant thing I can share with you. My 10th year, my income jumped to $252,000. But my 11th year, it jumped to 1.1 million. My 13th year, 3.3 million. My 14th year, 3.8 million. At 39, I retired from building teams to pursue other business interests, and that was in 2000. And last year, you know, what happened at that point, my phone started ringing. People wanted me, Dale, come and teach your local lead generation system on our Super Saturday. Dale, will you do this? Dale, and it created a whole nother business I never had anticipated called Network Marketing Support Services. Because I can do this in my sleep. It's so programmed in my brain, the principles, concepts, ideas, because, you know, people are your product, and human nature was the same 50 years ago, and it'll be the same 50 years from now. And so it created a whole nother business. It allowed me to travel all over the world. It's been phenomenal, but I was never really focused and serious about building out network marketing support services until last year. And the reason that happened is because I came to the conclusion that I need to really give back to the best of my ability. So if it's your first time, relax. I don't have a company I'm going to pitch you at the end. I don't have a super duper affiliate program that's going to make you an instant superstar in your company or any of the other stuff that you hear online today. I just want to give you value. That's it. Because I understand long-term income is always in proportion to the value that you provide to the market that you serve. I believe that in my heart and in my soul. So that's where I'm coming from. Appreciate you being here. I always like to every other week or so, I like to recognize the new training club members. The MLM Training Club is a program that we do where you get an audio CD every month, and there's a back-end website. And you guys, I've been telling you, I meant to show a picture tonight. I didn't have the opportunity to get it done, but I was going to show you a picture, some insight into the new training club that we're working on. And again, but it's same information. It's just different packaging and different back end and stuff. But those of you that are a member of Training Club, which I know the majority of you, I appreciate it. Those of you that are brand new, I like to recognize. So Maryland and Toronto, Alex in Tennessee, Jamie in Boston, Deborah Moore in Virginia, Riley Cooper in Melbourne, Paige, S. Page in Quebec, Renata in Croatia, Bridget, that's probably a misspelling on my part, in Denmark, Teresa in Florida, David in New Jersey, Isabella, Ryan in Australia, Mary Estill, California, Larry Poach in Texas, Ella in Louisiana, Ray Atkins in Indiana. Again, guys, I appreciate you. Right now we have network marketing support, our training club members in over 30 countries around the world. And I just have to stop and say this, just, you know, it's phenomenal, but it's awesome. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And you know, I've done a lot for you individually in the past, and I will continue in the future, because you really are the people that I appreciate more than you know. If we sit back and we just look at the network marketing profession, in my opinion, it's suffering from lack of leadership, much like a lot of businesses and maybe the world in general. And I did not say that there's not people that have leadership titles in companies. Every company has a lot of people with a leadership title. But a title doesn't make you a leader. Okay, if your company calls you a Triple Crown Diamond Ambassador with a ruby cherry on top of it, it doesn't equate to leadership. It equates to somebody that grinded and worked extremely hard. Okay, if you're at the top or near the top of any network marketing organization, you deserve, I mean, you've already accomplished more than 99% of the people that will ever join an organization. So, and you got the grind for sure. There's no question about that. But I've always believed, and again, this goes back to when I started and listening to a lot of people, I believe that we're in the leadership development business, that your long-term income is in direct proportion to the number of leaders that you develop, and that's a key word, develop on your team. As Brian Tracy said, the best leaders don't create followers, and again, this was before social media. The best leaders don't create followers, they create leaders. They create other leaders. The real secret in network marketing, I've got a whole webinar about this. You can go find the lost secret at mlmhelp.com. You can do a search for Lost Secret, and you can watch the whole webinar if you want to, if you haven't seen it. But the bottom line with network marketing is you must learn 5 core fundamentals to build your business, in my opinion. That's how to launch your business, how to create customers with a referral system attached, a 2-step recruiting process. You need a retention system, because it's not just about getting them in, it's about keeping them in and helping them move forward. And then you just learn to generate as many leads as you can on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and you bring people through those 5 core systems. That's the deal. Okay, anything outside of that is a waste of time, effort, and energy. The bottom line, to become successful and go as far as you ever want to go, you must be able to teach. I didn't say sponsor. Teach Joe, and not just teach Joe. You have to teach Joe how to teach Amanda to teach Larry. That's the only way duplication, real duplication, happens in the real world. That's how teams are developed in the real world. And again, it's been my soapbox since 1983, and it's even, I believe that message needs to be in the marketplace more now than at any time in history. I also believe that once you get to a point of unconsciously or consciously incompetent, or you're consciously, it's a lot of people take off in their ignorance on fire, and they start selling product and talking some relatives into joining, and things are moving forward. But everybody in network marketing at some point wakes up when they realize they're consciously realize that they're incompetent. They realize, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. And I believe everybody gets to that point. Most people quit when that happens. Most people peak the day they join the company. And why is that? Why would they join and not do anything? Because they joined for the wrong reasons to begin with. Because someone, quote unquote, closed them into the program. This has nothing to do with closing. It has everything to do with finding the right people at the right time in their life that are ready to get on with it and make some changes and make a difference for themselves and their family in the future. That's what this is about. Anything other than that is a waste of everybody's time. There's an old proverb that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, the teacher will arrive. And I think when people are ready to learn, and that's probably the majority of you, you're learners, or you wouldn't be on this webinar. Make sense? You wouldn't even be here tonight. You're watching, reruns of Laverne and Shirley or whatever's on TV tonight. You're not spending time on this webinar. So when you do get to a point where you're ready to really learn, I think it's real important that people understand, how do we learn as human beings? How do you learn? If you're on here tonight for entertainment value, it's not going to be a lot of entertaining going on tonight, more than likely. Okay, but as human beings, we learn 2 ways and only 2 ways, and that's through emotion and repetition, which I've talked about many, many times. So repetition is the mother of learning. Repetition is, we can all recite commercials that we heard 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago, because they were programmed into our mind through repetition. So repetition is the mother of learning. So when you realize, hey, I've got to get people, help them launch their business, you know, we have training to teach you how to do that, but listening to it 1 or 2 times is not going to get the job done. It's through repetition and implementing what you hear is what creates the skill. Most people just learn through osmosis or emotion. I think my wife was telling me this week, I think it was yesterday, that it was like 19 years ago that Lady Di died in that horrific car accident. And see, some of you, or if you're old enough, you remember that. You remember when you heard the news, because that was an emotional time. So that emotion creates a memory that you won't forget. Most of us remember where we were and what we were doing on 9/11. If you live in the United States or really anywhere in the world, you probably remember 9/11. And I could give you other examples. Some of you probably remember when Elvis Presley died and when you heard the news. And we could go on and on, but why do you remember those, and why will you remember those for the rest of your life? Because it was an emotional time. It created an emotion. So we learn through emotion and repetition, and we have to depend upon repetition, because that really is the mother of learning, and that is how we make sure that we get in our brains and in our brains what we need to move forward, whether we're talking about creating customers, we're talking about a 2-step recruiting process, whatever you're talking about, whatever skill set that you need to develop in the network marketing profession. You just, through repetition, you learn it, you implement what you learn, you make mistakes, you refine, and you keep moving forward until it becomes part of you. That's the whole deal, guys. There's no foo-foo dust. There ain't no foo-foo dust. And I understand we're in a world where we got a lot of people trying to teach you how to do something they've never done. There's a lot of people in the network marketing profession trying to tell you need to do this so they can sell you that. You got to have a blog. You have to brand yourself. You must have a blog. That is, it's 99% of the people. If you want to make sure you fail in network marketing, then you spend your time every day doing blogs. It's guaranteed failure. That's not how you launch your business. It makes no sense for 99% of the people, but we have people that are buying into this stuff because we have people that are, again, are telling you this so they can sell you that. As I go through this tonight, I hope you'll be thinking about what is the one thing that I need to really be mastering and focusing on right now. And master it. Get it over with. Learn it. Get it. Implement it. Get comfortable with it. Make it part of make it part of your comfort zone. It's like everything should be automatic. It's just like, would you like fries with that? That's how automatic the business should be for you. Every aspect, that's what you're working towards. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not even going to happen in 90 days. But it can happen in about 18 months if you're a serious student. You can get it and implement it. And I tell people it's 18 months and say, well, Dale, you know, this person told me that in 1 year, if I go through this course, and I'm going to be speaking at my company conference. Okay. Look, they're telling you what you want to hear. So that's it. They're telling you what you want to hear. And so again, I'm a little, you know, I'm not going to get, but let's get into it. Oh, 10 things that I know will make a tremendous impact for you. Number one will always be number one. And it's not the number one that a lot of you are thinking of, because a lot of you know, the majority of you that are here every week know, when you get somebody started, number one is always their why. Because until they know why, the how doesn't matter. And again, that came from Earl Nightingale, 1963, The Strangest Secret. You can find it on YouTube. So number one's always number one when you're developing teams. Until you know why, the how doesn't matter. So we're going to figure out the top 20 reasons or top 3. And again, that's not the number one we're talking about tonight. I'm talking about you as an individual tonight more than as much as I am talking about building teams. And building teams is always based upon systems. You as an individual, I believe this with everything within me. Number one is you must consciously program your mind for success. And no, that's not a pitch. That program's not available. Okay. A year ago, we took down 90% of our training programs. I thought they would all be back up and revamped within 90 days. And it's a year down the road, and most are still not available. They will be, though, this year. Okay. And this year, I mean next year. I mean by the end of 2017. But that's not my point. My point is we must act in accordance to our program. As individuals, we act in accordance to our program. So the only way to change our actions is to change our program. That's it. It's in every book that's ever been written. It's wisdom of the ages. Napoleon Hill talked about it, Think and Grow Rich, Psycho-Cybernetics. Dr. Maxwell Moss talks about it. Every personal development leader on the planet will tell you that as human beings we're programmed and we must act in accordance to our program. To see yourself, to become a leader, you have to act like you're a leader. Yes, some people do have natural, God-given, born DNA leadership abilities. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. But those that don't, can it be developed? Absolutely, no question. Absolutely, no question, it can be. Will it be if you don't focus on it? Absolutely not. It won't. It'll never be. A title will never make you a leader. A title. You have proof of that in every network marketing company in the world. Titles don't create leadership. Doing what leaders do creates leadership. And I've told my team years ago, I said, please never read books on herbs, and vitamins and minerals, and start reading books on leadership. You guys have heard me say that many, many times. You're programmed for your program. We're all programmed. And you can consciously program your mind for success, consciously. And if I didn't say anything else tonight, and if this is the only thing that you investigate from tonight, it would be well worth my time and your time. I'm going to expand on this just a little bit because it's so important. It's just so important that you accept this and understand this. I'm trying to remember the example that I heard it last night, as a matter of fact. Time is what? Most people think time is money. Time is money. Time is precious and the most valuable asset that you have. That's what time really is. Time is really precious and the most valuable asset that you have, because once it's gone, you can never get it back. But we've been programmed since we were children. Time is money. Why has that been programmed into our brains and into our minds? Because if people didn't think time is money, then people would probably not be punching time clocks every day to build somebody else's dream. And, the older I get, probably the more of a conspiracy theorist I kind of become. I'm not whacked out with that kind of stuff, but, the Industrial Revolution created a lot of wealth and a lot of quote-unquote security for people. At least, most people, they bought into the 40-40-40 plan. You work for 40 years to get to $40,000 a year to get to so they'll give you a $40 watch when you retire. And, we haven't really been taught a lot about creating income and creating wealth. And I heard something also last night that there's never been a person that's become a millionaire, self-made, who did it. This is awesome. Without a team. There's never been a person that's become a self-made millionaire without a team. Network marketing gives you the opportunity to create your team. Create your team. Honestly, at this point with Calvert Marketing Group, and we have different businesses we operate, I mean, that's been kind of, we're just trying to add people to our team and finding the right people, and I promise you it's a challenge. But you will act in accordance to your program. Here's what I was trying to get to. There's a book, if you can find it on Amazon, it'll blow your mind if you get a chance to read it sometime. It's what got me serious about programming, consciously daily programming my mind for success through affirmation and other things that we teach. Consciously daily doing it. Look, if you've been around this industry 3 or 4 years, you've heard people talk about Think and Grow Rich, and you've heard people talk about different books and the magic of thinking big, and you've heard people talk about programming your mind for success, and you've heard that. Maybe a lot, maybe not, and probably not enough, but I heard it too. I heard it too. And it's like I bought Think and Grow Rich, and I read the first 3 or 4 pages. Like, I can't. This is ridiculous. I can't keep up with. I can't. This is way too confusing. Then I bought The Magic of Thinking Big, and I love that. It was an easy read. Now today I read Think and Grow Rich. I go read Think and Grow Rich once a year. But my point is this. Here's what I want you to write down tonight. The book is called Subliminal Subduction. I don't know the author. It was written probably in the 70s. And it blew my mind because it talks, and it has nothing to do with us as human beings programming our mind for success. That's not what the book's about. But it's about how Madison Avenue was using subliminal messages to get into our subconscious mind, and I really sound like a conspiracy theorist tonight, to motivate us to take action. And the first time that this is documented was in the 50s, and they flashed up on the screen during the preview so quick that people couldn't see it. Drink Coca-Cola and eat popcorn and drink Coca-Cola. And it was like concession sales increased. It was unbelievable. I think the popcorn was almost 20% and the Coke sales increased almost 60%. And you know, you go into elevators and you hear elevator music, and if you're in a big department store, underneath the elevator music is a subliminal message saying, do not steal or you will be prosecuted. Do not steal or you will be prosecuted. And they've done all types of tests on this where, you know, it didn't eliminate, but it decreased theft drastically. And this book gets into a lot of this. And when I read it, I'm thinking, my gracious, you know, this is not some guru self-help, you know, philosophy. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, is just a wisdom of the ages principle. And after reading that, I spent a lot of time and continue to focus on just number one here. And I'm not going to spend this much time on anything else, guys, but it is just so important. It's just so important. We act in accordance to our program. You want to increase your productivity, you got to change your program. You have to. Number 2, network marketing frustration. We get real frustrated. Frustration only occurs when we allow it. I had to learn, like everybody has to learn, to work with the way it is, to work with the fact that 70% of the population, they're going to say they're going to do something and they won't do it. People lie. And number 2 is the work ethic in the United States stinks, in my opinion. People are more interested in entertainment and recreation than they are creating generational wealth. People in the United States, people come to the United States. Why did they come to the United States so they can punch a time clock? Absolutely not. They come to the United States for the American dream, or any free country. They come to Canada because it's free enterprise. But when you're raised in it, you sometimes don't appreciate it. And that can be very frustrating when you see people that have tremendous upside potential, but they've settled for far less than they can accomplish. So as a leader, you have to learn to work with the way it is. And in the network marketing profession, the way it is has gotten much worse. And I only mean this from the perspective that we have to go through more people today than we ever have to get the results that we once got. See, that's why you see a lot of people that entered the industry 10, 12, 15 years ago that had natural skill sets, mindsets, credibility. They could sell ice to Eskimos, sales people. They could close anybody into their program. And today they go in the marketplace and the consumer's different than it was 15 years ago. And they don't really know how to do anything other than talk to people and convince them to join their program. And I've talked about this many, 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 many times. Okay, so that's obvious, I think, in every company out there that you see those type of people. I call them bull and china closet distributors. So it makes it real easy for this guy or this girl to say, oh, I'm going to show you how to do this by blogging, because blogging's simple and easy. So, okay, I'll do something simple and easy because, all Joe is telling me to do is talk to more people, but he talks to everybody and he closes a few. Okay, so again, I'm just sharing tonight. I really believe there's more opportunity right now, upside potential for the right people who understand they're in the leadership development business at any time in the history of this industry. And I believe you'll be sought out more over the next, you'll be sought out more in 5 years than ever before in the history of network marketing, that people will seek out those that can teach them how to build real businesses and real duplicating teams. And I just see that happening, and people will start, well, what is okay, so you made $100,000, whatever. That's cool. That's neat. But the truth is, the network marketing business model is so good that a lot of people can get there. Okay, if they're willing to grind. Everybody gets there that's willing to grind. It's just over a period of time. If you grind and you communicate, because it's all numbers anyway. So but the real secret, as far as I'm concerned, let's go back. I mean, come on, guys, we got to get this stuff. The real secret is right here. Okay, you must be able to teach Joe how to teach Amanda to teach Larry. And if you get to 6 figures and you don't understand that, then you're going to be out of the business in 5 years or less. You'll be gone. You won't go from 92,000 to 252 to 1.1 million to 3.3 million. You won't do that. You'll be gone. Okay, and again, it's just the way it is. All frustration in network marketing business model comes from not being able to get people to do that which they want them to do. This is one of the best things I've ever heard. One of the best advice I ever received. And wrap your brain and your heart and your soul around it when you sponsor somebody. And you all have heard me talk about 1,000 times. You throw them the ball, they throw the ball back to you. You throw the ball, they throw the ball back to you. You direct, then you coach, then you support, and your goal is to get them to a point of delegation. But the bottom line is anything they do, anything that you get, if they buy the product, it's a bonus. If they talk to their mama, it's a bonus. If they fill out their 20 reasons sheet and get it back to you with their top 3, it's a bonus. Anything you get is a bonus. If they answer the phone when you call them, it's a bonus. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. Anything you get is extra. It's a bonus because the only person's actions that you can control are your own. Number 3, build your business with 90-day runs. We did a whole webinar on this as well, and I'm sure it's at mlmhelp.com. But I have learned over the years you can do anything if you're focused, committed, and dedicated and put a lot of effort behind it for 90 days. Anything. You can change anything. If your business stinks right now and you've been in the network, you've been in your company for 7 years and it stinks, you have nothing going on, I'm telling you, in 90 days of focused, committed, dedicated effort, you can turn the ship. You can turn the ship around. But it takes, okay? There's no foo-foo dust. There's nothing nobody's going to sprinkle on you to make it happen. It takes focus, committed, dedicated effort for 90 days. Okay, and that means, oh, you know, Joe Blow Guru's on Periscope, I better see what he has to say. No, if that's not, no. It's very focused, committed, dedicated effort. It's maximizing every minute of every day. And the truth is, people would just rather win the lottery than implement the daily routines that are guaranteed to create positive change over time. That's the world in which we live in. Again, I know that's not most of you, but it is most of the people that you're going to sponsor. And if you haven't read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, man, it's a great book. It's a great book. You need to read it. Number 4, time management's the best kept secret of the rich. I promise you, when I heard that, I didn't have a clue what that meant. That's from the great late Jim Rohn. I get it today more than I've ever gotten it. And I've gotten it more and more every year. But time management is the best kept secret of the rich. Most people, again, want to fill idle time with recreation. Recreation and entertainment. And we live in a world where we have instant access to recreation and entertainment. You know, you're carrying around something in your pocket that has more computing power behind it than, you know, the first PC most of us owned. Okay, you can play games all day, all night if you want to have recreation and entertainment. That, you know, it used to be the electronic income reducer. I used to talk about that all the time, the TV set, the electronic income reducer. Okay, that's what we used to have to fight. Okay, people were watching that because what was going on that boob tube was more exciting than their own life. So they would watch the electronic income reducer. Okay, that has been magnified 1,000 times because we have instant access to, you can call it entertainment, whatever. And there's nothing, I mean, that's fine. That's good. That's, you know, be entertained, play, enjoy recreation. There's time and place for all that. But when you're taking time that you could be spending working towards life-altering results for yourself and your family, and if that's what you're looking for, and to let, you know, the TV or your cell phone or anything, games or Netflix or whatever, take up time that you'll never get back, I don't understand it. and you're going to have to deal with it as a leader, and it's something that I think needs to be addressed. I mean, with the people that say they want to run, if you want to run, then run. Again, consistent effort doesn't always create consistent results, but it always creates success. And a consistent flow in your business, a rhythm, can only come when you manage your time or you manage your projects. Most people, you can't get good at your craft if you're not doing it consistently. You become good by activity, by consistent activity. That's how you develop your skill sets. And you cannot do that if you cannot get in a consistent flow if you don't have your time scheduled every single week. I grew, one of my biggest growth spurts when we were building is when I was working 52 hours a week, not 40. I was working overtime 52 hours a week total. 2 hours daily, 10-hour days, and 6 hours on Saturday is when we had, and I was still getting in front of my new people every single week, still doing my weekly overview training live. Okay, but it was not, I didn't have a moment to do anything other than that. But again, you're not me. If just blog every day for the next 3 years if that's what you want to do. Okay, and and again, guys, I'm just trying to get down to where the rubber hits the road. Time management is the best kept secret of the rich. We have a webinar just on this, just for network marketers. You can type in time management and at mmhelp.com if this is something that you really need to focus on. Again, if this is your one thing tonight, time management, I've got a whole webinar that just talks about time management, and especially if you're part-time, guys, because most people start part-time and it's really rough because you're used to having your free time and your entertainment time and a lot of times it's just escapism, but if you want to stay in the hump day Wednesday club and the thank God it's Friday club, or you don't, and I didn't, and I was surrounded by people, that for 5 years that they just, living for the weekend, and I'm thinking I don't want to, I want to have control over my time and the rest of my life, and that means more to me than anything is time. It just does, and being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and be able to spend time with family and friends, and being able to just say, I'm scheduling it, I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to enjoy it. I had the opportunity today. My dad and I spent some time, and we went and saw, he told me a gentleman that my dad and my mom and this gentleman and myself, we used to travel around it and do country music shows. And this is when I was a kid. I was like 7, 8 years old. And, it was great. We did it every weekend. And it was just, most of you know my dad spent 30 years at IBM. But my dad had his 80th birthday here a couple of weeks ago. And we had a huge party, invited over 200 people, and it was just great. And the one person I really was hoping to see, his name's C.W. Grider, and I asked, parents, is he coming? He said, well, I don't know, Dale. He said, he's very sick. He's very sick, and I don't think he's going to be able to come. This was the guy that we used to travel and do the country music shows with. And he said, I really need to go see him. He said, he's not doing well. And I said, well, if you go, you let me know, and I'll schedule it, and I'm going to go with you. So we did that today, okay? And I got to see him. They called hospice in earlier last weekend. They didn't think he was going to live through the weekend. But because of turning off the TV and not being a softball warrior years ago, gives me the opportunity to do things like that today, and that means more to me than anything. Okay, anything. I don't, and it blows my mind that people can say, well, I want to watch this on TV, some sitcom, instead of doing the activities that will ultimately create whatever you want to create, because that's what the network marketing profession allows. But there ain't no foo-foo dust. I don't know. I'm sorry that I got off on that story, but we had a great day today, and we got to see him, and he's not doing well, but he knew who we were, and our hearts and soul met, and it was a good day. Number 5, every person on your team should be using drop cards and a button. It's a powerful combo 1-2 punch. We have a whole training on this. I'm not going to get into this, but I'll just tell you, it should be every person on your team. I think it would be very prudent to have 10 buttons ready, and when a person joins, you make sure they have the button, and you can have some drop cards done if you want, just using a code system that we've talked about in the past. And you just tell them, hey, when you go through any drive-through for the rest of your life and you pick up your McChicken sandwich, you hand them this card and you say, please give this to your manager. And you get people in the habit of using drop cards when they're involved in their day-to-day life. Earlier this week, another project, another business that we operate, we're having some guys doing some remodeling / construction for us for another business that we're involved with, not network marketing support services. And I had to meet him, the contractor guy, at Lowe's, which is like Office Depot. I'm not sure if they're all over the United States or all over the world or not. It's like Home Depot, excuse me. And so we walk into this huge, huge box store, and we're getting the supplies, and then I'm going to pay for them, and then he's taking them with him in his pickup truck. So I had to go out there, and I'm thinking, if I was in network marketing today and building a team, if I had a button and some drop cards, and I have to do this, at least I can hand out 30 drop cards while I'm meeting this contractor dude. And there was some really good, and with the checkout, I could have said, hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. Here's my cards. My website's on there. I'll tell you all about it. And kept on walking, guys. You can walk down the aisle, and you can hand out 30 drop cards just like that in any box store in the country. And again, it's just easy to do. Okay, you're getting your Chinese food, you're picking it up, leave 3 or 4 on the counter for the next person. You're getting gas, put 2 or 3 on the gas pump. It's just something that every serious network marketer should be doing. It should be as common as spelling your name. It should just be part of what we do as an industry. You should not be able to go get gas without seeing drop cards scattered around the gas pump from 1,700 different network marketing organizations. And the people that are doing it, it's like this week, I talked to somebody, I sponsored 2 people. Said, I've been using drop cards for 6 months. I've got nothing from them. Last week I sponsored 2 people. Well, how could that happen? Because we're all looking for the right person at the right time in their life. That's how it happens. Timing. So I just needed to share that, guys. You got to be using drop cards in the button. You don't have to wait for them to ask you on the button. All you have to do is say, hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. Here's my my business card. It's got my website on it. You can go check it out. It'll tell you all about our service, all about our product, whatever. And just keep on walking. You never have to have uncomfortable conversations if that bothers you. Number 6, systems build teams. You're not the issue. I'm not the issue. Your personality's not the issue. My personality's not the issue. Your leadership ability is not the issue. My leadership ability is not the issue. Long term, duplicatable systems are everything. You must have the leadership development paradigm shift. And if you cannot give me the definition tonight of what is the leadership development paradigm shift, if you can't tell me and explain it to me tonight, then this is the second most important thing I've shared with you tonight. Number 1 is you program your mind consciously for success or failure. Well, it happens automatically for failure, but you have to consciously program it for success. Number 2 is if you want to maximize your potential in the network marketing industry, you have to have the leadership development paradigm shift. Or the leadership, and again, I've talked about this. There's articles, there's all kinds of stuff about leadership development paradigm shift. Here's basically what it means. Okay, in the beginning, you have to figure out your time management, all this stuff. It's all about you. It's all about your follow-up. It's about your time management. Follow-up is more important than the initial contact. It's about getting over fears that you have, fear of the phone, fear of failure, fear of rejection, all this. It's about you, and you getting better, and you learning the magic of believing and the magic of thinking big, and you start reading the right books, and you start getting into this personal development world, and at some point in your network marketing career, you have to understand it's no longer about me, and really, honestly, it never was. It's about helping my people move forward. Not about getting them in. It's about keeping them in, helping them move forward. It's about leadership development. And everything that you do has to be around that concept. Everything that I teach and say is around that. I've told people that I'm coaching with, teaching one-on-one, paying me a lot of money. I've told them on the phone, it's not about you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you move forward. I'm going to help you. But it's ultimately not about you. It's about developing people. That's the real product. It's not about your face club. It's not about your weight loss pills. It's not about your debt consolidation service. It's not about whatever. It's about developing people. Network marketing has nothing to do with recruiting, selling, convincing, or branding. You're in the leadership development business. It's about timing and finding the right person at the right time in their life. Leaders are developed with systems. Number 7, 3 to 5 of the right people a year makes you legendary in 3 years. Now, I understand there's people that will teach you how to be on social media and start your blog and brand yourself and act like something you're not, and become a superstar that will have more in I understand there's people that will tell you that it's not true. The only reason that you recruit somebody is to eliminate them. And people have a problem when I say this, and I understand. Man, my first 3 years, I would have had a problem with it too. It's like, Dale, I just give me some people, just let me have somebody. Let me have 7 people. If I could have 7 people now, if I could have, and you got to get way beyond that, guys. It's about you becoming a leader of thousands. You can lead thousands, but you can't carry 4 on your back. You can lead thousands, but you can't carry 4 on your back. And the real game here, guys, it's just like you have a Fortune 500 corporation that you're in charge of, and your job is to find 3 to 5 people this year that can take over large branches of your corporation. Okay, and in your mind, and that's what you're doing. That's what you have to. That's where you have to come from. You have to feel that it's not about convincing Aunt Mary to buy the product. That has nothing to do if you're going to fulfill your long-term upside potential here. It's about developing leaders, and it's about not wasting time with people that are never going to do it. You find 3 to 5 people a year that want it as bad as you do. You give them systems to plug into, so therefore they can be duplicated. So let's say one of your people that you find this year is named Mary, and you give Mary systems, because why? So Mary can turn around and teach Joe how to teach Sally to teach Tom. That's the deal. The only reason to recruit someone is to eliminate them. The number one mistake made by future leaders, many of you that are going to be awesome, awesome leaders in your companies that are with us tonight. The number one mistake you will make, I'm talking about people that are on this path, that are staying on this path, and they are grinding, and they're going to make it, and they know they're going to make it. They are not going to be denied. Here's the biggest mistake you will make over your career. And I'm trying to prevent you from doing it now, because you will. And you'll look back 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, you said, Dale, you were right. They spend too much time with the wrong people. They try to get Aunt Mary off the couch, and not enough time with the right people. What do you do with the right people? Play ball. You play ball. You direct. You coach. You support till you get them to a point of delegation. They go, Dale, they're doing great. I'm just let them run. Pour gasoline on them. Go, go. Keep them fired up. That's only going to last for a short period of time. So 3 to 5 a year. 3 to 5. That's all you need. You don't look at any organization, top income earner in any company. Any company, they make 95% of their income from 3 lines or less. 3 lines or less. Every minute that you spend trying to get Aunt Mary to please, please come to our Super Saturday because our president's going to be here is a waste of time. You don't have time for that. You call Aunt Mary one time, say, Aunt Mary, look, I know you're not going to do this. I don't think you can do it anyway, but I feel obligated to let you know that there's going to be a huge event on Saturday the 10th here in Phoenix, and I just wanted to see if perhaps you might want to show up or even ride with me. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay, Aunt Mary, I've fulfilled my obligation to you. You and Uncle Paul, you guys enjoy your reruns of Roseanne tonight. Respect your personal learning time. Never take direction or advice from someone until you ask yourself, who is this person and why should I be listening to them? That advice would have saved me so much time, energy, and effort in multiple businesses that I've been involved with over the years. Now I can promise you I don't spend any of my education time until I know that answer. I believe you should have multiple success mentors, because I know that wisdom of the ages principles that are taught are all the same. It's just they have different ways of communicating it. but the wisdom is the wisdom, and it will be the same 50 years from now as it is 50 years, if it was 50 years ago. So if you hear Les Brown say it, then you hear Og Mandino say it, then you hear Dr. Wayne Dyer say it, and then you hear whoever, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Mary Kay, whoever, Helen Keller, and you read the quotes or you hear the audio or you read it in the book and you realize, man, all these self-made people are saying the same thing. They're just saying it a little bit different way. It's all the same. And it all comes down to what is your program and how do you program, and, you know, do you value your time? The things that we talk about all the time, it all comes, it's everywhere. It's surrounded. Truth is truth. It's all around you. So I believe have as many success mentors as you possibly can. I believe in network marketing, and honestly in any business, I believe, but especially in network marketing, you need to have one mentor, because if you don't, you're going to get conflicting information and you're going to be confused. So how do you figure out the mentor? Here's how I do it. I look at track record. What's the track record? That's all I really want to know. And I'll just, guys, let me give you an example. One of our other businesses that we operate, we're really trying to figure out branding, because branding in that type of more traditional business means a lot. In network marketing, it doesn't mean squat to the right people. In network marketing, the right people are looking for track record. The right people. The sheep are looking for a Kardashian. No, substance means nothing to followers. Substance means nothing to followers. Substance only means something to those that are moving forward and serious and want to lead. But I said all that to say this. If I said branding and you said, okay, well, who's known, whose track record speaks for itself regarding branding? And most of you, a lot of you tonight would say, well, traditional business, branding, track record, Damon John, FUBU. And I've recommended Damon's book here before, his latest one, The Power Broke is the name of it. If you haven't read it, it's awesome. The Power Broke. But last night, Dawn and I spent a couple hours of our time, which was scheduled. We knew we were going to do this, but we were with Damon John's team, and we went for a couple reasons, but one of them was branding for another business we operate. So again, when I say look at track record, I'm speaking from how I do things and how I know after that it needs that it's more valuable when you look at it from this perspective. I've said many times, I made enough mistakes for everybody that ever listens to me speak about anything. I just hate to see people make the same mistakes I made. That bothers me. Number 9, don't depend on one marketing channel. You can become a lead generation expert. Every week, people tell me, every week I get emails from somebody that said, Dale, the internet killed network marketing. Okay, let me be extremely clear. I do not believe that. I believe prior to the internet, the speculation stage of network marketing started before the internet. It started when, as an industry, we got away from the foundational principles on which it was founded, and we started trying to compete with each other. And I've talked about this many, many times. Okay, so it wasn't the internet. Now, the internet compelled it but the internet is the most awesome tool that's ever been invented for network marketers when it's used correctly. I mean, my gracious, tonight we got people from different countries. I'm sitting here in Kentucky tonight, and we got people from Philippines, New Zealand. We got people from all over the world, all over the United States, listening to me tonight. I mean, how cool is that? Okay, so the internet is phenomenal. And the internet did not destroy the network marketing business model. And I say that to people every week. Somebody sends me a rant about that. Okay, but the internet helped us continue to start speculating and getting away from wisdom of the ages principles that builds teams, and created and promised a lot of false shortcuts. Still the greatest tool that the network marketing profession has when it's used correctly. Now, I will say, and I believe this, that social media as it exists today, September 2016, will have, and already probably has, 10 times the adverse effect that the quote-unquote internet ever did, because it gives newbies that don't know better, and I'm trying not to be too gruff here, but attention-starved individuals a platform on which they can act like something they're not. And see, there's many of you listening to me tonight that you need to be doing more social media, because you have a track record. You have a good track record. Again, everything comes back to track record. See, and I talked about this. When I did Confessions of a Network Marketing Millionaire, that training program, it was the first generic training program I ever did. And you know what? It was after I'd made millions of dollars. You have, and you all know, you have people teaching people to get on my webinar, take down your notes, then go on YouTube and share your notes with people, and make sure you give me credit. Eliminate the noise, make sure your content makes sense, and go for it if you have a track record. But what has happened, guys, there's people that built their teams totally around one specific platform, and that platform will always change. I had friends that built huge organizations, and all they used was Google AdWords, and then Google AdWords, the Google slap came, and they were no longer allowed to run their ads, and their websites weren't showing up under their keywords, and their whole business disintegrated, because that's how they built their whole business. The same can be said with Craigslist, Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, the list goes on. And look, I think you should use all these platforms, every single one of them. All I am saying is don't depend upon one marketing channel. Become a lead generation expert. Learn as many ways as you can. Somebody sent me my upline told me that don't listen to Dale Calvert, because all he teaches people is how to use a button, wear a button, and use drop cards. And I said, you know what? You got one choice. You can listen to whoever you want to, or you can go to my website, mlmhelp.com, click around, and you can find out what the truth is for yourself. Okay, I don't really even like getting those kinds of emails. It's like, okay, listen to your upline. That's cool. Listen to your upline. There's no problem there. Just plug right into their systems and training. That's fine. Don't send me the emails. And, okay, so I've talked about all this, guys. Got a lot of articles here on getting drinking the Kool-Aid on certain marketing channels. Just please don't do it. Generate as many leads as you can everywhere you possibly can every day. Especially if you have your 4 core fundamental systems in place, man, roll with it. But this is just from a couple posts from MLMhelp.com. This video is what it is. Why blogging's a waste of time for 99% of network marketers. We've already talked about it. The best way to build your brand is to build a team. These are all articles you can access. 42,000 self-proclaimed network marketing gurus, ninjas, masters, rock stars, consultants, and trainers on YouTube. Right now, at the time I did this article, there was 42,000 people calling themselves ninjas, masters, rock stars, consultants, trainers on YouTube. Why? Because some self-proclaimed guru told them that's what they should be doing. Well, how do I launch my business? Get on YouTube after you listen to my conference call and do your notes. And there's nothing wrong with that in general, but if that's the way you're trying to launch your business, that ain't gonna work. It's not gonna happen. You don't even have it. Your mama hadn't even bought your product yet, and you're on YouTube calling yourself a network marketing ninja. All right, tonight, guys, is going to be worth you. What I'm getting ready to share with you is going to be worth you being with me tonight. It's part of what I teach in the funded proposal system, which again is not available. Take out some notes. This is the best method I know for generating the most, and this is a key word, qualified leads. Not the most number of leads, not you aren't going to generate very many leads a year doing this. You will not generate enough leads in a year with this method to build your team. Did you hear what I just said? I'm going to share with you the best way to create qualified, awesome, qualified leads that you can do as soon as I get finished here in the next 3 minutes showing you this. But please hear me. Don't think that you're going to do this and you're going to have 10 or 12 or 22 people every month that are going to be contacting you about your product or your service or your business. It's not going to happen. Again, it's one method of multiple methods that you should be using on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to generate as many leads as you possibly can. That's the game. After you got your 4 systems in place, the game is lead generation. That's the deal. That's just the way it is. But this is the best way I know well, it's one of the top 2 methods I know. We'll talk about the other one some other time. But this is one of the top 2 methods I know for generating real qualified leads. Now, if we just stop and think about it, what is a good lead? Well, if someone is willing to invest in their own personal education on a topic, that is a good lead, in my opinion. Because there's some people that, you know, if they invested in a book or a CD or some type of training on a particular topic that they have an interest in, then they're afraid that they're not going to be able to keep up their Netflix subscription, and so therefore they would never buy a book. Yeah, I love what Jim Rohn said. He says there's a reason large homes have libraries. Isn't that a great quote? Now look, this is coming from a person that prior to me joining network marketing, when I was real young, I read a lot of books, Hardy Boys Mysteries, and a lot of books, and probably from the 7th grade, 8th grade on, I don't ever recall ever reading a book until I was 20 years old. And the only reason I ever went into a bookstore was because of the network marketing profession. But since I was 20, it's the number of books that I've had the opportunity to read has been unbelievable. So I believe the right people, Charlie Tremendous Jones said, leaders are readers. And I believe there's some substance to that. I really do. So if someone's willing to buy a book on weight loss or home business or a topic like that, then they're probably a pretty good qualified prospect for your product and or your business. Does that make sense? Okay, let's say I'm going to use weight loss tonight. We could talk about any product line you're involved with. We could talk about just home business. We could talk about work at home. But I went to Amazon earlier this week when we were putting this together, and I found this book called The Mindful Diet, and you can say it sells for $11.03 on Prime. And if you understand Amazon FBA, you could basically send them 20 copies of this book, and then you never have to ship it, which we don't want to do. But you could. But my main point is individuals like you can sell this book on Amazon. Okay, you can go in and somewhere on the Amazon page it'll say sell mine, and you can list your book and you can sell it on Amazon. Okay, you can see right here it says there's some used and new from $5.18. So we'll use $5.18. If you $5.18. So you could sell yours for $5.17 if you wanted to. Now, if someone buys a book titled The Mindful Diet, How to Transform Your Relationship with Food for Lasting Weight Loss and Vibrant Health, and you have a weight loss product, would that person probably be a really good qualified prospect? Yes or yes? I mean, obviously, right? So let's say that was your book on Amazon, and then they bought it, and Amazon says you have a customer. They would send you an email. They say, please send the book to this address, and Amazon would give you $5.17 or whatever you price your book at, plus shipping, which is normally $3.99 is how much they would give you to ship the book, which you can ship the book, I can't remember right now, media mail for less than $3.99. So in my example, you've collected $3.99, so let's say $4 plus $5, $9 here in my example. And you can probably ship it for less than $3 through media mail, depending on where you live and where it's going, but for sure you can ship it for $4. So $5, we'll just say, just to keep it easy. So again, if you had 10 or 15 or 20 of these books and you mailed out 2 or 3 a month or 4 or 5, 7 a year, my point being, when you mail that, Could you include information, excuse me, or even a sample of your product? Absolutely. Could you include a nice letter saying, hi Dale, I'm glad you ordered the book. I hope you enjoy it. Uh, I just wanted to also let you know that I'm involved with blah, blah, blah. I'm a distributor for this product. Here's my personal testimony. I've included a free sample. If you'd like to learn more, here's my website. Something along those lines, like, similar to your launch letter that we talk about when you launch your business. Could you do that? Yes. Now, the obvious question is, Dale, where do I get the book? What I'm getting ready to share with you guys, I'm telling you, again, it's part of our funded proposals training, and it's just the number of quality prospects, quality that have been generated with what I'm sharing with. I started doing this I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And when I wasn't even building teams, just identifying entrepreneurs. There's a secret blowout book website. I looked at that this week. You could buy this book for 50 cents. Now, the list price on it is $24.99, and you can see they only had 37 of these books available. Sometimes it might say 370, it might say 13 available, it might say 12, it might say whatever. But there's a secret blowout book website, and I found this is an example this week. You could have bought the book for 50 cents, sold it for $5. Let's say you bought 10 of them, and you sell them over a period of time for $5. You make profit of $5 a book, or $5 is your total net minus 50 cents. So you made $44.50. You sold 10 books. You just put $45 profit in your pocket, and created potentially one of the best leads you could ever create. Will you hear from everybody? Will everybody go to your website? Absolutely not. Will some of them? Yeah. Will some of them end up buying? Yes. Will some of them, after they buy, if you follow up as we teach, 3-day 14, 29, 59, how would you like to learn how to get the product wholesale? Will some of those people join you on your team? Absolutely. Could it have been a book entitled 100 Home-Based Businesses You Could Start? Yes. Could it be focused on the business? Yes. Could it be focused on the product line? Yes. So the obvious question is, Dale, where do I get this book? I'm going to share it with everybody tonight. And I'm telling you, all you have to do, you go in, you look at the blowouts, you look at the titles, and you're going to see businesses or books that are congruent with your opportunity, are congruent with your product line. Nobody's ever taught this, ever. This was worth the admission you paid tonight. It's called bookdepot.com. And so, yeah, Dale, that's just one. No, here's another example. This one, the prime price is $17. It says the Start Here Diet. Guys, I found these two. This site has pages of these, and I found these two like on the first couple of pages. Now, this one, they have 287 available. The list price is $25. You can buy it for 75 cents. Bookdepot.com. Bookdepot.com. That's one of the two best ways I would share with you for creating extremely qualified leads. I hope tonight's given you some concepts to think about. As I say many times, the teaching's in the words, but the learning's in the silence. So that means you take the time to think about it. I meant to get this presentation up so you could download the slides. I haven't done that yet, but when we send out a link, hopefully we got this recorded, we send out a link. I'll also include in that email the link where you can go download the slides tonight. I want to get that up for you as well as the replay. So it might take, a day or two before we get that part done. I meant to get that done, but I forgot to to get that done for you tonight. But I think it would be valuable. So we'll have the actual overheads that you've seen, plus the webinar video audio. I know that knowledge without action leads to self-delusion. I know that. So I've shared with you 10 things tonight that I hope you said, Dale, this is my one thing. This is what I really need to really focus on, get mastered, get it out of the way so I can keep jumping my hurdles and keep moving forward down the road. Last thing I want to share with you tonight, I share with you 10 tactics, tricks, tips, ideas that I've learned in the last 35 years of being an entrepreneur. And I just want to be extremely, extremely clear that I don't believe in tips, tricks, nuggets, any of that stuff as it relates to network marketing. As it relates to network marketing, I believe in systems. I believe in systems. It's systems duplicate, period. That's what does it. Systems. I believe that you have to have 5 core systems. Launch system, retail, customer acquisition system, recruiting system, retention system, then generate as many leads as you can. That's the game. You win. You do this, you win. So I just want to make it very clear, because I very seldom do these type of trainings. Sometimes I'll do ask questions, and really I don't do them because I don't want people thinking, oh gosh, I can make $4.50 for every book I sell on Amazon, and I get qualified leads. I'm going to make a fortune. I try to make it as clear as I can, guys. That's not the way it works. Okay, you're not going to create enough leads, as I've said, to build a business doing that way, but it's something you should definitely be adding. So again, it's like I don't like it when people take what we teach, the systems, out of context, and I don't want, so it bothers me. And so I just want to make it very clear that I believe in systems, period. And that's, if you go to MLM Help right now, that's the article that you'll see on that page. And I just cannot make that clear enough. That's about it tonight, guys. I appreciate you being with us. We had a great crowd, a lot of new people. I hope you'll come back. The best way to make sure that you get on our webinar notification list is go to MLMSuccessWebinar.com. That's all, that's singular. MLMSuccessWebinar.com, and you can sign up. That's the best way. Or at MLM Help, MLMHelp.com, our newsletter list. You can sign up there, and you usually will get notifications of these webinars. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate all your feedback on our blog, the podcasts that we do, Amazon, when you buy products there and you leave us positive feedback. I appreciate it. Moving forward for Network Marketing Support Services, we've been doing it a year now, really focused for a year, and I've said from the beginning, I understand moving forward, your feedback means more than I can even communicate. It's what gives me energy to do these every week, and it's what all the algorithms in the internet world are looking for, your feedback. So it means a lot. It means a lot. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Jude Daniel, which is my my grandson that was adopted from Uganda, it's his birthday Saturday. We're having a Curious George birthday on Saturday. He'll be 4 years old. So that's our big weekend plans. I hope you guys get to spend time with those that you love and care about. I appreciate you being here with us, and I will be back with you next Thursday on the No Fluff network marketing webinar. Again, MLMsuccesswebinar.com if you're not on our notification list as of yet. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the first-time people. Appreciate you being here. I hope that you'll say, you know what, I need to check out some of this guy's stuff this weekend, and just go to MLMhelp.com. There's more free training there and webinars and things that you can plug into than you will ever believe. Just type in any subject you have a question about at MLMhelp.com, and there's going to be something that's going to come up that will help you. That's our hope. That's our prayer. You guys have an awesome weekend, and we'll talk to you next Thursday evening. Good night.